This was an interesting piece, and I thought it was so smartly done. I absolutely love the fluid animation style and that contrast between the mannequins and the person. It was so interesting how the mannequins are brightly colored throughout most of this piece, and that person was always black. I think that's a conscious decision that says a lot about how women are viewed and treated in society. And I thought it was so interesting how the added cries and scream completely dictated the tone and the message of this piece. Without them, it could have been about something completely different.
Admittedly, that one was a tough beginning. Um, Something we all know too well as women. Um, I think it's clear in the beginning too, thankfully, that it is a mannequin like representing all of that. But that really is just a metaphor to how we are viewed in those instances. We are just bodies, or how we feel in those instances, like we're just being used and undressed, and there's no way to speak because you're nothing to them. Um, and then how we're just expected to sit there and look pretty in a display and not say anything, and no one knows the story underneath. You just have to stand there and look pretty. And then even the transition of showing different mannequins, like they're very human at first with like full wigs and full clothes, but as you move on, there's no arms or legs, there's no heads, they're just bodies. And that's too often what winds up happening in these instances. So it was very poignant. Um, the metaphor was very clear, the theme was very clear, and it's just gut wrenching, honestly.
This short film is quite intense. They use very specific sound effects with screaming, crying, begging, and this underlying concept of what's going on, how it makes you feel, even without looking at the images. You can immediately feel threatened and on edge. It is just very powerful. With the color combinations as well, it's just a truly remarkable animation with so many background stories, so much going on, so relatable in so many levels. It's just outstandingly good, clever, and yeah, just reality.
The silent scream is, a really tough story, as a woman to watch, but I think, in general, and you keep it serious within the format of animation, which, it's really easy to steer it off the tracks and lose that tone, but you did a good job of keeping that together. And I also want to commend you for using a mannequin to keep it, kind of a blank slate, so it's not as damaging, but also in the same way of keeping the anonymity of who is this person. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a, true identity. So it could be truly anyone. It could be you or me, or, there's contextually there's layers to that, and I think that's really important. I think this was a well done piece for the topic that it covered, and I think you handled it really well professionally, and made it, however jarring it is, to be really digestible and something that a lot of people could watch and help inform of the trauma of this kind of issue.
I definitely, once I got through it, asked myself, what did I watch? Was it satire? Is there a message here? Is this a call to action? Are we mistreating mannequins? It really raised a lot of questions, and I don't know what the answers are. I thought it was really a creatively bold piece. Animation was great. It really kind of kept up with the mystery that the narrative was presenting, and definitely helped with it.
This piece made me extremely uncomfortable right off the bat. I don't know if that's because I'm a woman and I felt like with the crying and the visuals, I felt like I was being violated or somebody was being violated. Very, very uncomfortable, made me very uneasy. But the technicality of it, the animation, everything was well done.